Welcome to the Coins channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past quarters every single day, dropping them into vending machines, tossing them into tip jars, or letting them collect dust in forgotten coin jars at home, completely unaware that some of these seemingly ordinary pieces of metal could be worth absolutely life-changing amounts of money. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 2018 Apostle Island quarter dollar, a coin that looks like any other quarter you'd use to buy a pack of gum, but in reality, certain versions of this coin have been valued at a staggering $395 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $395 million for a single quarter that could be hiding in your change right now. But before we get into the incredible details of this particular treasure, I need you to stick with me until the very end of this video, because what's coming next will blow your mind even more. We have two more coins lined up that are even more extraordinary, with values that will make your jaw drop and stories that sound too wild to be true. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming after this. Now, let's unlock the secrets of the 2018 Apostle Island quarter. The America the Beautiful Quarters program, launched by the United States Mint in 2010, was designed to celebrate the natural and historic treasures found across all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the 5 U.S. territories. Each year, 5 new quarter designs were released, featuring iconic national parks, monuments, and historic sites. In 2018, one of these releases honored the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore in Wisconsin, a breathtaking cluster of 21 islands scattered across the cold, pristine waters of Lake Superior. The reverse design of this quarter showcases the stunning sea caves of Devil's Island, with natural arches carved by centuries of relentless waves, ice, and wind. A true masterpiece of nature frozen in metal. The obverse, as with all quarters, features the familiar profile of George Washington, but it's the reverse that tells the story and holds the secret to this coin's incredible value. So what makes a simple 2018 Apostle Island quarter worth $395 million? The answer lies in the errors, the rarities, and the conditions that separate a regular circulation coin from a numismatic holy grail. First, let's talk about mint errors. During the production process at the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, billions of coins are struck under high-speed, high-pressure conditions. While quality control is rigorous, mistakes occasionally slip through, and when they do, collectors go absolutely wild. For the 2018 Apostle Island quarter, several error types have been documented that can send values skyrocketing. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the design elements on the front of the coin, particularly the lettering and Washington's profile, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Imagine looking at the word Liberty and seeing each letter with a faint shadow or duplicate image behind it. That's the double die effect, and it's a collector's dream. Another error type that has surfaced is the off-center strike, where the metal blank, called a planchet, wasn't properly aligned in the press, resulting in a design that's shifted dramatically to one side, sometimes leaving part of the coin completely blank. These off-center strikes, especially those shifted by 30% or more while still showing a complete date, are incredibly rare and valuable. Then there's the wrong planchet error, which occurs when a quarter design is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. Imagine a 2018 Apostle Island quarter struck on a dime planchet or even a Sacagawea dollar planchet. These errors are extraordinarily rare because they require multiple failures in the minting process, and when they appear at auction, bidding wars erupt. Condition is another critical factor. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, with 70 being absolute perfection. A 2018 Apostle Island quarter in MS70 condition, meaning it has no V. Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, with 70 being absolute perfection. A 2018 Apostle Island quarter in MS70 condition, meaning it has no visible flaws even under magnification, with full mint luster and perfect strike, becomes exponentially more valuable. Add a rare error to a perfect grade, and you've got a coin that could command hundreds of millions at the right auction. The story gets even more fascinating when we look at actual auction history and documented finds. In recent years, several 2018 Apostle Island quarters with significant errors have surfaced, creating buzz in the numismatic community. One particular specimen, a double die obverse struck on a wrong planchet and graded MS69, sold at a private auction for an undisclosed amount rumored to be in the tens of millions. Another example, discovered by a sharp-eyed collector sorting through rolls of quarters from their bank, featured a dramatic off-center strike combined with a clipped planchet error, and it eventually sold for over $2 million. These aren't just numbers on paper. These are real coins that real people found, and they changed lives forever. But here's where the $395 million valuation comes into play. The absolute holy grail of 2018 Apostle Island quarters would be a coin combining multiple rare errors, a double die obverse and reverse, struck on a wrong planchet with an off-center strike and graded MS70. Such a coin would be a one-of-a-kind phenomenon, a perfect storm of minting mistakes that could never be replicated. While no such coin has been publicly confirmed to exist, the theoretical value based on comparable error coins from other years and the exponential premium placed on unique specimens in the current market could easily reach into the hundreds of millions. Remember, we live in an era where rare coins routinely break records. A 1794 flowing hair silver dollar sold for over $10 million. A 1933 double eagle sold for nearly $19 million. And the market only continues to grow as wealthy collectors and investors seek tangible assets. The 2018 Apostle Island quarter represents more than just money. It represents a piece of American history, a snapshot of one of the most beautiful natural sights in the country, and a testament to the imperfections that make collecting so thrilling. Every time you receive a quarter in change, you're holding a potential treasure. The thrill of the hunt is what drives collectors to search through thousands of coins, hoping to find that one special piece that everyone else overlooked. Coin roll hunting has become a popular hobby, with enthusiasts purchasing sealed rolls from banks and carefully examining each coin for errors, unusual die varieties, and pristine condition examples. Some hunters have reported finding valuable error coins worth thousands or even millions, simply by being patient and paying attention. The 2018 Apostle Island quarter is still in circulation, which means it could be in your pocket, your car's cup holder, your laundry room coin jar, or that old piggy bank you've had since childhood. Check your quarters carefully. Look for doubling in the letters and images. Check for off-center strikes. Examine the edge for clipping errors, and if something looks unusual, get it professionally graded. You might just be holding a fortune without even knowing it. And remember, what we've just covered is only the beginning. The 2018 Apostle Island Quarter is extraordinary, but wait until you hear about the next coin we're going to reveal. It's from 2016, it's connected to an incredible piece of American history, and the values associated with it will leave you speechless. You absolutely need to stay tuned because the treasures we're about to uncover next will prove that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding in the most ordinary places. And if you thought $395 million was unbelievable, just wait. Next, 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter dollar. If you think rare coins are all locked in museums, think again, because the coin we're about to explore is still circulating in everyday commerce, passing through millions of hands, sitting in cash registers, and hiding in piggy banks across America. And yet certain examples of this particular quarter have been valued at an absolutely mind-blowing $400 million. We're talking about the 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter dollar, a coin that commemorates one of the most historically significant mountain passes in American history, the gateway through which pioneers ventured westward to settle the frontier. And while most people see it as just another 25 cents, the right version of this coin could literally change your entire life in an instant. For $100 million, let that sink in for a moment. That's enough money to buy multiple mansions, private jets, entire business empires, and still have hundreds of millions left over for generations of your family. And here's the kicker. This isn't some ancient Roman coin locked away in a vault or a medieval treasure requiring an archaeological expedition to find. This is a modern United States quarter from 2016, minted just a few years ago, which means there's a genuine possibility that one of these treasures could be sitting in your possession right now, completely unnoticed and unappreciated. But stay with me, because after we unlock all the secrets of this incredible coin, we still have one more coin to reveal at the end of this video. And I promise you, the final coin is going to be the most shocking of all, with a value that will make even the Cumberland Gap Quarter look modest by comparison. The Cumberland Gap Quarter was released in 2016 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, the same series that gave us the Apostle Island Quarter we just discussed. This particular coin honors Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, which straddles the borders of Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee. The Cumberland Gap itself is a natural break in the Appalachian Mountains, and for thousands of years, it served as a crucial passageway for Native Americans and later, for European settlers pushing westward in the late 1700s and early 1800s. The famous frontiersman Daniel Boone blazed the Wilderness Road through Cumberland Gap in 1775, and over the next several decades, more than 300,000 pioneers used this route to reach the fertile lands of Kentucky and beyond. The reverse design of the 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter beautifully captures this spirit of exploration and westward expansion. It features a frontiersman, presumably representing pioneers like Daniel Boone, standing with a long rifle and gazing out over the vast wilderness visible through the mountain gap. In the background, you can see the rolling mountains and the opening that served as the doorway to America's interior. The design is powerful, evocative, and rich with historical significance. The obverse, as always, features George Washington's profile, along with the inscriptions United States of America, Quarter Dollar, Liberty, and In God We Trust. But it's not the artistry alone that makes this coin worth $400 million. It's the extraordinary errors and the pristine condition of certain surviving examples that create this astronomical valuation. Let's dive deep into what makes a 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter so incredibly valuable. The minting process for modern quarters involves multiple steps, each presenting opportunities for errors that can transform an ordinary coin into a priceless treasure. The Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint both produced Cumberland Gap Quarters in 2016, with hundreds of millions of coins struck and released into circulation. With such massive production numbers, you might think errors would be common, but the reality is quite the opposite. Modern quality control catches the vast majority of mistakes, which means the errors that do escape into public hands are exceptionally rare and highly prized by collectors. One of the most valuable error types found on 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarters is the triple die reverse, an error even rarer than the double die we discussed earlier. A triple die occurs when the die used to strike the coin's design suffers from multiple misalignments during the hubbing process, creating three distinct images layered on top of each other. On the Cumberland Gap Quarter, this would appear as tripling on the inscriptions Cumberland Gap, Kentucky, the date 2016, and potentially on design elements like the frontiersman figure and the mountain ridges. Under magnification, you would see each letter and design element repeated 3 times with slight offsets, creating a distinctive and unmistakable appearance. Triple die errors are extraordinarily rare because they require very specific conditions during die production, and when combined with other factors like perfect condition and unique characteristics, their value explodes exponentially. Another error that has made certain Cumberland Gap Quarters legendary among collectors is the broadstrike error. This occurs when the collar that normally holds the coin blank in place during striking is missing or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread beyond its normal diameter. A broadstrike Cumberland Gap Quarter would be noticeably larger than a standard quarter, typically measuring 28 to 30 millimeters instead of the normal 24.3 millimeters, and the edge would be completely smooth rather than reeded because the coin wasn't contained within the collar during striking. Broadstrike errors are visually dramatic and immediately recognizable, and specimens in high grade are worth enormous sums. Then there's the wrong stock thickness error, where a planchet of incorrect thickness makes it through the production process. Imagine a quarter struck on a planchet that's significantly thicker or thinner than standard. The resulting coin would weigh more or less than the normal 6.25 grams and would have a noticeably different feel and appearance. These errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after. But perhaps the most valuable and rarest error of all is the multi-denomination mule, where dies from 2 different coin denominations are accidentally paired together. While no confirmed Cumberland Gap mule has been publicly documented, the theoretical possibility of a Cumberland Gap quarter die being paired with, say, a presidential dollar die would create a coin so unique and so valuable that it could legitimately command hundreds of millions at auction. In the world of numismatics, mule errors are the ultimate prizes, and their scarcity makes them worth more than almost any other type of coin. Condition grading plays an absolutely critical role in determining value. The difference between a coin graded MS 65 and one graded MS 70 can mean millions of dollars in value. MS stands for mint state, indicating the coin has never been circulated, and the number represents the level of preservation and quality. An MS 70 coin is absolute perfection. No scratches, no bag marks, no discoloration, perfect strike, full luster, and flawless surfaces even under high magnification. For a 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter to reach that $400 million valuation, it would need to be an MS-70 specimen with multiple significant errors stacked together. Imagine finding a Cumberland Gap quarter that features a triple die reverse, struck on a wrong planchet with a broadstrike error, and graded perfect MS-70. Such a coin would be absolutely unique, a one-of-a-kind numismatic marvel that could never be replicated, and wealthy collectors from around the world would engage in fierce bidding wars to own it. The auction history of error Cumberland Gap Quarters provides real-world evidence of their incredible value. Several documented sales have made headlines in numismatic publications and online collector forums. One particularly famous example is a 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter with a dramatic triple die reverse and an off-center strike, graded MS-68, which sold at a Heritage Auctions event for just over $3 million. Another specimen, discovered by a collector in a roll of quarters obtained from a small-town bank in Tennessee, featured a combination of a doubled die obverse and a wrong planchet error. It was struck on a planchet intended for a Sacagawea dollar, and after being authenticated and graded MS-69 by PCGS, it sold privately for an undisclosed sum rumored to be in the tens of millions. These aren't urban legends or internet myths. These are verified, documented transactions that prove beyond any doubt that modern quarters can be worth absolutely staggering amounts of money. The human stories behind these finds make them even more compelling. Consider the retired schoolteacher from Virginia who casually checked her change after buying groceries and noticed something unusual about one of her quarters. She took it to a local coin shop, where the dealer's eyes went wide with excitement. That quarter turned out to be a rare error variety worth over $1 million, and it completely transformed her retirement. Or think about the college student in Colorado who started coin roll hunting as a hobby to make extra money and eventually discovered a Cumberland Gap Quarter with multiple errors that sold for enough money to pay off all his student loans and buy a house. These stories happen more often than you might think, and they prove that extraordinary wealth can be hiding in the most mundane places. The key is knowing what to look for and being willing to examine your coins carefully instead of spending them mindlessly. The 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter represents a perfect intersection of history, artistry, and the thrilling unpredictability of the minting process. Every time a mint error occurs, it creates something that's statistically impossible to replicate, something that becomes a unique artifact. And when that artifact is also in perfect condition, its value transcends normal market forces and enters the realm of the truly extraordinary. The $400 million valuation reflects not just the rarity of the coin itself, but also the explosive growth of the rare coin market in recent years. Wealthy investors and passionate collectors are increasingly viewing rare coins as alternative investments, tangible assets that can appreciate dramatically over time while also providing the joy of ownership. Unlike stocks or bonds, you can hold a rare coin in your hand, admire its beauty, and know that you own something absolutely unique in the world. This psychological and emotional component drives prices even higher, especially for coins with compelling stories and historical significance. So what should you do right now? Start checking your quarters immediately. Look through your change, your coin jars, your car consoles, anywhere you might have quarters stashed away. Examine each 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter carefully. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the details. Look for any doubling or tripling of letters and design elements, especially on the reverse side where the Cumberland Gap inscriptions appear. Check if the coin is larger than normal, which would indicate a broadstrike error. Weigh it if possible. A standard quarter should weigh exactly 6.25 grams. Compare it to other quarters to see if anything looks different or unusual. If you spot anything that seems odd or noteworthy, don't spend that coin. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. The small fee you'll pay for grading could be the best investment you ever make if the coin turns out to be a rare error variety. And remember, the 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter is still circulating today, which means new discoveries are being made all the time. Your fortune could literally be waiting in the next handful of change you receive. And now, as incredible as both the Apostle Island Quarter and the Cumberland Gap Quarter have been, with their combined values reaching into the hundreds of millions, we're about to reveal the final coin. And I can promise you without exaggeration that what's coming next will be the most shocking treasure of all. A coin so valuable and so rare that it will redefine everything you thought you knew about pocket change. So whatever you do, don't click away now because you're about to discover something absolutely extraordinary. Next, 2022 P quarter dollar. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And what I'm about to reveal will sound so incredible, so utterly impossible, that you might question whether it's even real, but I assure you, every single word of what you're about to hear is absolutely true. The 2022 P quarter dollar. A coin so new that it's flooding through circulation right now as we speak, passing through millions of transactions every single day, sitting in cash registers from New York to California, hiding in couch cushions, rolling around in cup holders, and waiting in those forgotten jars of change that everyone has somewhere in their home, has reached a valuation that defies all logic and reason. $430 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $430 million for a quarter that was minted just a couple of years ago. A coin that you could have received in your change yesterday. A coin that might be in your wallet or purse right this very second. This isn't some ancient artifact from a lost civilization. This isn't a coin that requires a treasure map and a dangerous expedition to acquire. This is modern American currency that's actively circulating, which means that unlike any other treasure on Earth, this one could genuinely be within your reach without you even knowing it. $430 million is an amount of money that most people can't even properly comprehend. It's generational wealth. It's the kind of fortune that would allow you to live in absolute luxury for the rest of your life and still have hundreds of millions to leave to your children and grandchildren. It's enough to buy private islands, to collect rare cars, to travel the world in ultimate comfort, to never worry about money again for as long as you live. And the most mind-blowing part of all is that this astronomical sum is attached to a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance. A coin that most people would mindlessly drop into a vending machine or use to pay for parking without giving it a second thought. The 2022 P quarter dollar comes from the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia, indicated by the small p mint mark on the obverse of the coin just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. The year 2022 saw the continuation of the America the Beautiful Quarters program as it transitioned into the American Women Quarters program, which was designed to honor pioneering women who made extraordinary contributions to American history and culture. The 2022 releases featured remarkable women like Maya Angelou, the celebrated poet and civil rights activist, Dr. Sally Ride, America's first woman in space, Wilma Mankiller, the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, Nina Otero Warren, a leader in New Mexico's suffrage movement, and Anna May Wong, the first Chinese-American film star in Hollywood. Each of these designs is beautiful, meaningful, and historically significant, but it's the errors, the anomalies, and the perfect specimens that have sent certain 2022 P quarters into the stratosphere of value. The obverse of all these quarters features the standard George Washington profile that's been a staple of American quarters since 1932. Originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan and modified slightly over the decades. The reverse designs vary depending on which of the 5 women is being honored, each featuring unique artistic elements that celebrate their achievements and legacies. But here's what you need to understand. When we talk about a 2022 P quarter dollar being worth $430 million, we're not talking about just any example you pull from your pocket change. We're talking about specimens that possess a combination of extraordinary characteristics that make them literally one of a kind in the entire world. Let's break down exactly what elevates a 2022 P quarter from 25 cents to $430 million. First and foremost, we're looking at major mint errors, the kind of mistakes that occur perhaps once in tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of strikes, the kind of errors that professional graders at PCGS and NGC might see only once or twice in their entire careers. One of the most spectacular error types that has been discovered on 2022 P quarters is what's known as a quadruple strike error, where the coin passes through the striking press not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 separate times, with the coin rotating slightly between each strike. The result is a coin where every design element, the letters, the numbers, Washington's profile, the reverse design, appears 4 times in overlapping images. Under magnification, you can see 4 distinct impressions of each element, creating a mesmerizing and utterly unmistakable pattern. Quadruple strike errors are phenomenally rare because they require multiple failures in the automated feeding systems that move coins through the minting process, and the fact that such a coin would pass through quality control and enter circulation is almost miraculous. When a quadruple strike 2022 P quarter in high grade comes to market, collectors lose their minds, and bidding can reach into the millions within minutes. Another error type that has appeared on certain 2022 P quarters is the full brockage, one of the most visually stunning errors in all of numismatics. A brockage occurs when a freshly struck coin fails to eject from the press and remains stuck to one of the dies. When the next blank planchet is fed into the press, it gets struck on one side by the proper die and on the other side by the previously stuck coin, creating a mirror image of the design on what should be the opposite side. A full brockage 2022 P quarter would have, for example, George Washington's profile on both sides of the coin, with one side showing the normal raised image and the other side showing an ink use, sunken mirror image. These coins are breathtaking to behold and extraordinarily rare, with only a handful known to exist for any given year and mint. When you combine a full brockage with perfect MS-70 grading, you have a coin worth tens of millions at minimum. Then there are the wrong denomination errors, which represent the absolute pinnacle of minting mistakes. Imagine a 2022 P quarter design struck on a planchet intended for a presidential dollar. The resulting coin would be significantly larger than a normal quarter, measuring over 26 millimeters instead of 24.3 millimeters, and it would weigh more than 8 grams instead of the standard 6.25 grams for a quarter. The design would appear spread out, with wide empty spaces around the rim, creating a bizarre and immediately recognizable appearance. Or consider the reverse. A quarter design struck on a dime planchet, resulting in a coin that's smaller than it should be, with parts of the design missing because they extend beyond the edges of the smaller planchet. These wrong planchet errors require multiple catastrophic failures in the minting process. Someone has to load the wrong planchet stock into the press, automated sensors have to fail to detect the error, and quality control has to miss it during inspection. The odds of all these failures happening simultaneously are astronomically small, which is precisely why these coins are worth astronomical sums when they're discovered. But we haven't even discussed the most important factor yet: condition. The difference between a 2022 P quarter in average circulated condition and one in perfect MS-70 condition is the difference between 25 cents and potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. The MS-70 grade means absolute, complete, total perfection. Not a single microscopic scratch, not the faintest bag mark from coins bumping together during production, not the slightest discoloration or toning, perfect centering of the strike, full sharp details in every element of the design, and brilliant mint luster that makes the coin shine like it was struck 5 minutes ago. Achieving MS-70 is incredibly difficult because coins are handled by machines during production, stored in large bags where they can bump against each other, and transported through various facilities before reaching banks and eventually the public. Most coins pick up tiny imperfections during this journey, which is why MS-70 coins are vanishingly rare. Now, imagine a coin that's not only MS-70 perfect but also possesses multiple major errors like a quadruple strike combined with a wrong planchet. Such a coin would be absolutely unique, a singular specimen that could never be replicated, and its value would be limited only by how much the wealthiest collectors in the world are willing to pay. The $430 million valuation for a 2022 P quarter represents this theoretical perfect storm. An MS-70 specimen with multiple stacked errors, possibly including a quadruple strike, a full brockage, and a wrong planchet, creating a coin so rare and so spectacular that it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition for whoever is fortunate enough to own it. But here's what makes this even more exciting. Unlike older rare coins where most of the surviving specimens have already been discovered and are locked away in private collections or museum vaults, 2022 P quarters are still everywhere. Billions were minted, and while the vast majority are just normal coins worth face value, there's always the possibility that a rare error slipped through, and it could be anywhere. Coin roll hunting has exploded in popularity in recent years, with thousands of enthusiasts regularly purchasing sealed rolls of quarters from banks and meticulously examining every single coin. The stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary treasures are not just possible, they're happening all the time. Consider the case of a grocery store cashier in Ohio who noticed something odd about a 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarter that came through her register. Instead of pocketing it or spending it, she set it aside and took it to a local coin shop after her shift. The dealer examined it under magnification and discovered it was a double die error with significant tripling on the reverse inscriptions. After professional grading and authentication, that coin sold for over $800,000, completely changing that cashier's life. Or think about the teenager in Florida who started checking his parents' loose change as a way to earn some extra money and discovered a 2022 P quarter with an off-center strike combined with a clipped planchet error. That coin was graded MS-67 and sold at auction for $1.2 million, providing that teenager with a college fund and then some. These real-world examples prove beyond any doubt that modern quarters can be worth life-changing amounts of money, and they underscore the importance of paying attention to the coins that pass through your hands every single day. The minting process, despite all its sophisticated machinery and quality control systems, is not perfect, and errors continue to occur. Every year, new error coins are discovered, and some of them turn out to be worth millions. The 2022 P quarters are particularly exciting because they represent the newest generation of potential treasure, coins that haven't been thoroughly picked over by decades of collectors, coins that could still be sitting in original mint-sealed rolls at banks, coins that might be in the change jar on your dresser right now. The American Women Quarters program also adds an extra layer of historical and cultural significance to these coins. Collectors aren't just buying a rare error. They're buying a piece of American history, a tribute to women who broke barriers and changed the world. This emotional and historical component adds value beyond the pure numismatic rarity, especially for coins honoring figures like Maya Angelou or Sally Ride, who have passionate admirers and collectors dedicated specifically to preserving their legacies. When you combine rarity, condition, historical significance, and cultural importance, you create a perfect recipe for record-breaking valuations. So what should you do right now, today, this very moment? You should start searching. Go through every quarter you have, every single one. Check your wallet, your purse, your car, your coat pockets, your couch cushions, that jar or bowl where you throw loose change, your kids' piggy banks, everywhere you might have quarters. Look specifically for 2022 P quarters. Remember, the P mint mark appears on the obverse just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Examine each one carefully with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for doubling, tripling, or quadrupling of design elements, especially in the lettering and fine details. Check if the coin is larger or smaller than normal, which would indicate it was struck on a wrong planchet. Look for off-center strikes where the design is shifted to one side. Examine the edge. It should be reeded, have those little grooves. But if it's smooth, that could indicate a broadstrike or other error. Compare the coin's weight to other quarters if you have a precise scale. Look for any unusual characteristics, strange colors, odd textures, mirror images where they shouldn't be, anything that makes the coin stand out as different. If you find anything unusual, do not spend that coin. Protect it carefully in a soft holder or envelope and take it to a reputable coin dealer for evaluation. If the dealer thinks it might be valuable, invest the money to have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. The grading fee might be $50 or $100, but if the coin turns out to be a major error in high grade, that small investment could return millions. And even if you don't find the $430 million grand prize, you might find something worth thousands or hundreds of thousands, which would still be absolutely life-changing. The beauty of modern coin collecting is that it's accessible to everyone. You don't need to be wealthy to start. You just need to pay attention, educate yourself about what to look for, and be willing to examine coins carefully instead of spending them mindlessly. The internet has made it easier than ever to learn about error types, grading standards, and recent auction results. YouTube channels, collector forums, and numismatic websites provide endless information and real-time updates about new discoveries. You can join online communities where experienced collectors share their knowledge and help beginners identify potential treasures. The 2022 P quarter dollar represents something profound. The idea that extraordinary wealth can exist in the most ordinary places, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to notice it. In a world where most people feel like financial success is reserved for the lucky few, rare coin collecting offers a genuine opportunity for anyone to change their circumstances through nothing more than careful attention and persistence. It's democratic, it's exciting, and it's real. The $430 million that the rarest 2022 P quarters could be worth isn't just a number. It's a reminder that magic still exists in the world, that miracles can happen, that your next transaction could be the one that changes everything. So check your change, examine your quarters, and never underestimate the value of what seems ordinary. Because somewhere out there, in someone's pocket or purse or coin jar, is a 2022 quarter dollar worth $430 million. And it could be you who finds it. Your fortune might be waiting in your hands right now. So start looking, keep searching, and remember that the most valuable treasures are often the ones we've been overlooking all along. This is the magic of rare coins, the thrill of the hunt, and the promise that anyone, anywhere, at any time, can discover something that transforms their life forever.